really way taller than me.
I'm a lot taller than you. I mean, to be fair, I am taller than you.
Yeah,
It's the glasses.
most glasses.
I'm not sitting up further.
Well, a part of it is also my chair is slanted.
Hi, everyone. How's
Hi.
it going? That's Tess back there that you can't see.
That is Tess. That's Philip.
That's Tommy.
Wow.
Yeah.
We haven't been in 2 weeks, so we have to
That's
let
true.
people know
Yeah.
who we are this
That's
week.
true.
For those of you who tried to watch us last week, we weren't here.
Mm-mm.
I was not here.
Philip was in
I
Pennsylvania,
was nowhere near here.
and I put the books on the wall and went home and had a nice quiet evening.
Mhm.
I was gone.
Good.
There's a mall in Pittsburgh. It's kind of like Potomac Mills.
Okay.
So obviously, whoever the developer was for Potomac Mills created this giant mall in Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It is completely empty. There's like a Macy's left, a Dick's left.
Wow.
There's a comic shop. The comic shop
Of
I
course.
went to is like 4 spots, so it's over 10,000 square feet, like
Wow.
easily.
Wow.
They had a dollar bin room that was bigger than this store.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine a 3,000 square foot
Yeah.
dollar
So
bin?
it may have been bigger, right? It was it was a dollar bin room that was bigger. It was bigger than this store. So this is 3,200. So
Yeah.
it was
That's insane.
yeah, it was huge. Like it
There's
was
no such thing.
it was nuts.
Yeah.
I want to go.
And then they had another side that was just games.
Yeah.
Just for the games. And then they had the big room, but there were so many pops. So many pops.
Ugh.
And not a weasel to be found.
Well, it went.
I'm just saying.
It's true, yeah. All the pops were left.
What do you mean you wasn't here, Rachel? I mean, you were the one that was supposed to keep everything straight last week, Rachel. Come on.
Mhm. We left this to you one time. I love you, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I was doing. That's a bummer. Being sick.
Ooh. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I didn't actually do a ton last week. Like I
Good.
rode around. I think I did go. I think Tuesday I went to the mall and I went to the big comic shop. I think that's
Mhm.
when I texted you.
Yeah, we honestly we texted a lot on Tuesday, and I think it was because we were like, oh no, he's not here.
Yeah. Monday I went to can't remember. It was called something Attic. The comic shop was there, and it was
Phantom
actually,
of the Attic?
Yeah, Phantom of the Attic, and it was actually
I love that.
it was in the attic of a shopping center.
Really?
It was a small shopping center, so you went in and you went upstairs, and it was in there.
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I talked to the owner there for a while. I walked in and we started talking, and he goes, "You're Philip." I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
From Mission Comics. I'm like, "Yep." I am. And
You're
so,
famous.
and so we talked about the Comics Pro stuff and all
Yeah.
that, because I think at the last Comics Pro I bought one of his auction items.
Oh.
So we
Okay.
talked for a while. He had his shop was, it wasn't as big as this, but it was a decent size in that attic, and it was laid out pretty well.
I think I talked to him at Comics Pro too.
Yeah, probably. So the interesting thing is, so there's 2 Phantom of the Attics.
Mhm.
So the owner of both Phantom of the Attics sold them to 2 different people in 1990.
Oh, interesting.
So they're 2 separate owners of each one. I didn't make it to the other one because the other one is actually in Pittsburgh, and that seemed like a
That's a
lot for
terrible
me.
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
That's
seemed
not-
like a bad idea to go into Pittsburgh. So I didn't do that because it's like I think it's like south.
Mhm.
The one I went to is south, and then the other one, the mall, it was down some river because there's only 38,000 rivers and bridges in the Pittsburgh area. And so I went to it, but that place was huge. But yeah, it was a lot of pops. So I did end up buying, I think I ended up buying New Mutants 21, which was the first time that Magic was called Magic.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love that for
So
you.
for your shrine.
Yeah,
For
for
your
my shrine.
shrine.
Yeah. So I ended up
That's
doing
awesome.
that. Yeah. So I ended up buying that. And then I went back to Phantom of the Attic on Wednesday and bought my Absolute Wonder Woman 2.
Of course. Of
And-
course.
Important.
So
Yeah,
good.
yeah, the important book. So, And he didn't. So I'll tell you this: they didn't have any variants at all.
Yeah.
Either, except for the Santa Claus book.
Mm.
Like they didn't have. It was A covers, all A covers. I'm
Good
like,
for
hey,
them. Good for them.
like I know what this looks
The
like.
last few weeks we've had more variants. I've been toying with it a little bit, trying it out. Mostly with the books that I know are really hot or the covers I think are really pretty. So like we got all the variants for Absolute Superman #2 this week, because they all look cool.
Yeah,
honestly.
Well, what I got. I got 2 variants on what Superman
Yeah,
is.
on Action Comics.
Oh, Action Comics.
Yeah.
I'm not even reading Action Comics.
I am. We'll be
Well,
talking about Action Comics in a minute.
Yeah, one of them was Sweeney Boo,
Yeah.
and the other one was DNA.
Mhm.
So it was the Supergirl
The DNA,
crystal.
yeah,
It
she
was
was
the
like a
Supergirl
crystal evening
a
gown.
crystal
it was
evening
really
gown.
cool.
Yeah.
It was very pretty.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually ordered a couple of those
Sucker.
for the rack.
Sucker.
So they were pretty.
Purdy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, they
pretty.
pretty.
Well, now I have to go and look.
Yeah, it
Tomorrow.
is pretty. It
Might
is a
need to buy
very-
that one too.
It is a pretty cover.
Yeah.
So they did I don't think we got this, and I didn't order one, but I saw someone, they did a chromium version
Oh,
of that cover, and boy,
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
it was pretty
I bet.
because the crystal.
The way the crystals were sparkling and
Yeah.
the regular one looked like it was foil.
Yeah. So they did a good job. with
That's
that.
cool.
So that was pretty cool.
I made terrible choices while you were gone
Huh.
and played Magic.
Well, there was no one here to supervise you because obviously Tess failed on that.
I got well on Thanksgiving.
She didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know any better.
I spent money on Thanksgiving. I bought the Storm from the X-Men Magic cards
Uh-huh.
and the Captain America cards from
That's-
Ryan.
Uh,
And so I'm going to be building the Captain America deck.
man, I really want the Captain America cards.
Do you want all of them, or do you just want the shield?
I mostly want the shield.
Yeah, I
but-
thought so.
yeah.
So the thing is, I didn't realize the shield is actually a repurposed old card. That was one that I liked a lot. It's the Shield of War and Peace, but it's actually the Sword of War and Peace that came out years and years and years
Gotcha.
ago. So I'm very excited to build
That's
that
cool.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no use for it because I'm not going to start playing, but the cards are really cool.
They are. They are really cool.
And I probably won't buy it if David Peterson didn't get me to buy the animal cards.
Yeah.
There's really going to be
Yeah.
hard. Like it was already bad enough. I bought the Jen Bartel magic cards.
Yep. Didn't you buy
Sucker.
two? Or was it?
There was so Jen Bartel did a set, and then there was another women artist set that had like Jen Bartel and
Okay.
Rian
Mhm.
in it. So it was like
I
four
couldn't remember if you
different-
bought
yeah.
that one or not.
Yeah, I bought that one.
I
too,
thought so,
'cause
yeah.
Sucker.
Well, I'm really looking forward. Sometime next year, there's going to be a whole set, not just a little pack of 5 cards, but a whole Spider-Man set.
Yeah. That's a normal set though.
It's
right?
a normal
Yeah.
set. Alex and I are going to have to talk about pre-orders on that because I'm going to order a bunch because I need it.
Yeah, it's like I said, I thought that was gonna be a whole set. Though,
Yeah.
right there.
Yep.
I could just get a pre-con deck on that. They're gonna do pre-cons for that.
I
right?
imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine so. And I plan to get enough where I'll have some extras to sell and or trade.
Man,
So
Spider-Man makes things so easy only because like with Iron Man, you do a lot of armor stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then like with Spider-Man, you have his normal stuff, and then you have like the armor
mhm.
card that you could
Yeah,
do.
God, I'm so excited to see what they do with it.
Talking magic.
Ryan and I were talking about like what a Venom card would look like how it would be like just be Eddie Brock on a card, and then the Venom would be something that you attach to
Attached to
him.
it, yeah.
And if they do it right, which
Yeah.
they may not.
Who knows?
Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
who knows what they're
Yeah.
allowed or not allowed to do. Can't believe we're talking magic on.
Well, it's Spider-Man related.
Oh,
It's
it is
fine.
Spider. I mean,
It's
all of it's
fine.
comic related, but
Yeah.
still, it's just really funny that they're doing that stuff.
Honestly, I had a lot of fun Friday night going out and playing with some people, and that's probably going to be a norm for me now going forward for a little while.
I went so in the Dead Mall. There's still a Macy's there,
Yeah.
and then and Jacqueline and I were doing laps because it was 9 degrees in Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
So we were doing laps and we were getting our walks in. We went to the mall to get walks in.
Oh.
Oh, like old people.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So we found a old people couple in front of us. So we just followed them the whole time until they got done. And then we still needed a little bit. And we kind of ended up in front of Macy's.
Yeah.
And so we said, let's go into Macy's. And then we were just walking around Macy's because I haven't stepped foot in a Macy's in 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I moved up here in 92. So it was obviously before 1992.
But remember when we were kids and Macy's was like the pinnacle of
Yeah.
shopping? It was way too fancy for us.
Well, evidently, the contract was signed that part of Macy's now during this time of year is a Toys R Us.
Oh, really?
What?
So
I
I
did
got
not
to
know
go
that.
to a Toys R Us by going into the second floor of Macy's, and they had all these the little Lego bags
Mhm.
that I didn't have, and they had them all on sale.
Well,
so
that's cool.
I got like 5 different Lego bags for like $4.
Macy's.
Yeah. And there was, I mean, there was an Optimus Prime, and it was just a figure. No, yeah, it was just a figure from. So you remember he died in the movie, and
Yeah.
then in the animated series they resurrected him.
Right.
Well, it was the resurrected figure. He didn't transform or anything, but he was in a giant. It was this big, but it was a giant VHS container.
Oh,
that he
that's
was in.
cool.
Yeah, and it was like the the Return of Optimus, the episode name, and on the back it
Do we
had
have
all.
a Macy's over here?
I think there is
At
one in
Chesterfield
Richmond.
Town
So
Center?
yeah, I think there's one
Chesterfield
somewhere.
Town Center, there's one, yeah.
But-
Okay.
I might
But
have to go.
yeah,
Let's go
it
to the
was.
mall sometime this week.
I almost bought a pop because they had Jeffrey Pops.
Jeffrey?
Yeah,
The giraffe. Oh, took me a
So
second.
they had Jeffrey Pops.
My first thought was they did Fresh Prince Pops and Jeffrey got a pop.
That is also a cool Jeffrey, but Jeffrey. So they had like stuffy Jeffrey giraffes and
Okay.
pops. It was all kind of stuff. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. They had
Yeah.
like a Toys R Us, Macy's, Barbie exclusive. Like they had all these weird little.
I want a
exclusive
John
things.
Cena merman Barbie.
I don't know if they had that,
I
but
want one.
I want one.
I don't know if they had that. So it was really cool to go into a Toys R Us for the first time, and
Yeah, it's been a long time.
even though it was in Macy's, they actually had some like really coolish stuff.
That's really cool.
And they were still
Yeah.
adding stuff, so they obviously hadn't got all their stuff in because it was in this area, and then they started putting more stuff in. So they had a giant Batman mech.
okay.
It was in a box about 2.5, 3 feet high. It was like 3 feet high, and you could see the mech. And what came in it was the bat plane, the Batmobile, a cycle, and then they transform and merged.
Did they
into a giant-
Voltron?
Yes,
Oh
they
my
Voltron.
god, that is awesome.
It was basically.
Oh,
And Jacqueline goes, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I may end up getting a Batman mech." I was like, "We probably should leave." But yeah, so they were each their own thing. It was like kind of like the Batman animated stuff, and then it turned into Voltron.
that's
Amazing.
awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." So, because I knew that there's still Toys R Us and Toys R Us's in Canada.
Oh
But,
yeah.
yeah, they still have big stores up there, but here they're
Interesting.
just starting back out to.
Soon to be our 51st state.
Yeah, because not gonna be Puerto Rico, even though they voted for it again.
Yeah.
Again, they voted for it.
Mhm.
Funny how that works.
Let's talk about Superman.
Let us talk about
Before we get to the
Superman.
comics, though, I woke up early this morning to watch the series finale of Superman and Lois. And if you have not seen the show, it reminds me of Ted Lasso when I first watched it, in that the world is dark and full of terrors, and we need something to bring us hope. And when Ted Lasso started, that was Ted Lasso. Like we were all, just mired in the pandemic mindset, and everything was awful. And then, everything was, all of us, we were just depressed and sad. And then Ted Lasso came out and brought us hope. Superman and Lois has done that for me. I've rewatched the first 3 seasons recently, and then I just caught up like a week ago on the new season, and the finale was last night. and it was the perfect Superman show. We now have a new best version of Superman ever put on film.
Yeah.
He is the guy.
I agree.
And the way that this series ended was perfect. So anyway, I'm going to throw that out there before we start talking about comics, because I think everyone who has ever had a dark day and has lost hope in anything should check out Superman. It is Superman and Lois. When Supergirl started, there was a moment in that show that was like the quintessential, this is the perfect moment for a Supergirl show. And it happens in the first episode, and they re-show it a few times over the course of the series, where Superman saves this little kid, and he's in his like very first homemade crappy costume. And the kid's like, "Hey, nice costume." And he goes, "Thanks, my mom made it." And like flies off. And it's just, and that's the whole show. It's just Superman being Superman.
It's the Superman that you need.
And hi, Megan. And they brought that into a new era. So the original Action Comics *1, that Superman was created by a couple of Jewish kids in the late 1930s, who Superman really was a sort of a juvenile attempt at dealing with the horrors of the world. Because comic books were made for kids then, and they couldn't be but so sophisticated. So they basically made the perfect man, and he fought for truth and justice. And we've got that again right now in 2024 in Absolute Superman.
It's
This is the second issue of Absolute Superman. It does not have as many flashbacks to Kal-El on Krypton.
And we do have #1s.
And we do have some #1s.
So if you didn't get #1, you can get 1 and then 2.
Well, we've got
Noirs.
we got those noir versions, the
Right.
black and white versions, and then I'll have second prints of it.
Tomorrow.
No,
Next week. 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's either next
I
week or
know
week
it's
after.
coming, but
Yeah,
there's
we've got some copies of the Absolute Superman Noir that are coming out tomorrow, along with issue 2. And then I'll have, like I said, I'll have second prints of #1.
I'm all in.
It is.
absolutely.
And in this issue, we get to meet to really get to know a little bit the absolute version of Lois Lane. And like, this is a world that is made out of dark side, so it's a little darker, pun intended. But for some, I was really worried because Dark Knight's Metal was one of those Elseworlds things where it's like the universe was darker, so Batman was evil, and there's all these different evil Batmans, and everything is sad and violent and sharp.
Metal was rough.
Yeah, and that was my fear going into this. I was like, okay, we're gonna get a universe made out of dark side, so everything's gonna be dark and grim and gritty. And while the world itself seems to be darker, the heroes feel more heroic. Even Batman does not seem to be as dark in this universe. And I think that's because in this universe, his mom lived. And so he got to be raised by a mom. He's not a billionaire, he's not rich, but he's a guy that grew up with a mother's love who still has that sense of justice. So like the way he fights guys is a little less clean. It's a little more chaotic. It's a little more stabby.
And it's got a perfect Batmobile.
And yes,
Yes.
holy crap. And then Absolute Superman is this guy who has only been on Earth for 6 years. He has been living amongst the lowest of society. He's been hiding out among the homeless and the people that are forgotten. And he is quietly doing good works in the background. And this corporation that owns, feels like, have you ever seen the movie The Rundown with The Rock, where there was that one guy, it was Christopher Walken. He owned that town. It was a gold mining town, and he basically ran it like as a military operation. This is him as a corporation in this darker universe where they have laser guns and stuff. And the entire security force is a bunch of peacemakers, like same helmet, same everything. And then we get to meet this universe's version of Peacemaker, who is a worse version of Peacemaker.
Which seems really odd.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, this Superman is, again, bringing as much hope as he can to all of the people who need it the most. Anyway, I've consumed more Superman media in the last year than I have in the rest of my life combined. And I think it's my way of dealing with how dark the world has become.
Dun, dun, dun.
I understand Superman in a way now that I never did before. I understand why he is necessary. I understand why Grant Morrison was obsessed with him.
Well, the premise of Superman has always been important and understood. It's the execution of Superman where I've always had.
Like God comes to Earth and does stuff.
Yeah.
That never seemed interesting to me. Like, what are the threats?
Right.
And it's like, and growing up when we did in like in the 80s, like comic books were like big fights, a lot of it. And like Superman in a big fight, it never really felt like it was a real threat.
Yeah.
Even when he died, I was just like, he'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the problem that I've always had with Superman is the fact that like I understood Superman and I got the premise, but it's like people just wanted to put him in a fight. And which is why up until recently, most of the stuff that I always liked about Superman never had Superman in it.
Yeah.
It was either he was gone or it was Clark with no powers and showing, or what the thing he did a couple of years ago when he went to War World.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a red sun, so he had no powers, but yet he still fought for people. And that to me is the stories. And I think the change, well, not absolute, but in action and Superman, the change really is his family now, which goes back to the Superman and Lois show. It's the family dynamic that makes him vulnerable to all this other stuff because there's so much to lose. Like it's one thing for you to just be you on your own saving the planet. And let's be fair. If someone dies, they died. I did my best.
Yeah.
But now it's
his boys.
It's boys,
and
right?
His wife and his friends.
And
like Lana's still like his best friend from childhood. And
right.
she's constantly in danger.
Yeah. So the book now takes on that tone because the books now are about the family. It's not.
Action is like I'm enjoying Superman. And right now in Superman, Lois has powers. And I can't remember how she got them off the top of my head. But Action has been the book that I'm really loving because it has more of the family dynamics in it. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to Action.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there. Yeah, we'll just go there next.
Let's go there now. Okay. So
now it's Action issue 1078.
And this is it part 9?
Part
9 of Phantoms, where shenanigans have happened in the Phantom Zone.
Here, there we go.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Shenanigans happening in the Phantom Zone, and Superman has to go there. And then the shenanigans in the Phantom Zone start sucking all the energy out of the sun. So now his family, their powers are lessened because the sun is being drained. And anyway, there's a lot going on. But my favorite part is the B plot with Connor Kent Superboy and Keenan, who is the Superman of China, out in space trying to track down stuff that was stolen from the Fortress of Solitude. And it was basically the intergalactic version of the British Museum came to Earth and stole artifacts from the Fortress of Solitude to put in their museum. And
life's hard.
Connor and Keenan are out in space trying to track it back down and get it back. And they are hilarious together. Because, Connor's kind of headstrong. He's kind of like, I'm going to go do a thing. And Keenan's like, we got it. No, okay. Oh, you're already doing the thing. Okay.
Yeah. I think sometimes, not the creators, but like if you haven't read comics in the last 20 years, people kind of forget that Connor is part Luthor.
Yeah, exactly.
So he has that part of that in him too, not just Superman, but he has Lex Luthor in him. Yeah. So it's a different dynamic for him that what he's fighting and prepared for.
And then there's a backup story with Supergirl, who's on a mission by herself. That is more is less supery and more like introspective and like, am I going to have to do a thing that is against my code of ethics? Yeah, it's a lot of existential angst going on in that book, or in the backup story. But Kara is doing her best.
Yeah, well, Kara has issues.
Yeah. Anyway, Superman right now is on a roll.
Yeah. And a lot, I mean, with Kara, they're kind of dealing with it some, I think, in here. But like there's been other books where she's been having to deal with the whole Power Girl stuff again.
Oh yeah. Does there need to be two of us?
Yeah, there's a lot of insecurities from a Supergirl standpoint again, which isn't like it's done very well.
Is it because of Kara's cutout in her uniform?
It is not. Well, you know, a lot of it, I can't remember. It was a book that came out, it's probably been like 6 months ago, that did a really good story in it. And it was one of the things where, you know, Supergirl is technically older than all of them.
Right.
Like, Kara's technically older than Superman and Power Girl.
Yeah.
But
she was like frozen.
Right. And so everyone looks at Clark as this hero, and then you have this other group that looks at Power Girl as this hero, and it kind of like, here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here I am, this person, and it's kind of ignored when we're put out there. So
I think the super family works best when they're dealing with their own insecurities and their issues. Because like Supergirl could easily take over a planet all by herself.
Right.
Like she's that strong.
Well, I think that's what made Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow such a powerful Supergirl book, right? Like it is the definitive Supergirl book now at this point, if you want to understand who she is.
Yeah.
And now that her and Crypto hang out all the time, it's even better.
Well, yeah, I'm really excited for the new DC movies. And the thing that made me the most excited was that one promo shot of Superman and Crypto sitting on the moon, just looking at Earth. I was like, that is exactly the vibe I want from the Superman movie.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a light. Stop. You mean you're giving me a Superman movie? Well, everyone complained about the last Superman movie being too dark, which sure. And then now everyone's complaining about this one being too light. It's like, well, I don't understand.
If they had just tweaked the color palette in that movie, it would have been received a lot better, I think.
Yeah, if they would have made his costume this blue instead of
whatever
that, like it would have been better. But yeah, Crypto makes everything better. I'll definitely see the movie. I mean, I won't go to theaters.
I will. I'm going to be there opening day. I cannot wait for Superman.
I saw you post a question today, and I'm like, I can't even remember the last movie I saw in the theater.
We saw Wicked, and it was great. I really quite enjoyed it. Now, I read the book, and I love the book, and I've only heard a couple of songs from the soundtrack, so like I wasn't well versed in the musical. And I went in, and when we came out of it, I said that I felt like the first half of the movie dragged a little bit, and it felt a little bit too long. And then the people who are familiar with the musical, they were like, "No, you're wrong." And I was like, "Oh," and it was
your feelings are valid. It's fine.
No, yeah. So what I was told was that the people who were fans of the musical, like those parts of the movie that I felt were a little bit slow, they were like, okay, when's the song coming? The song is up next. We've got to get through this to get to the song.
That's the most important part.
And I didn't have that because I don't know the musical. So what I have learned is that before part 2 comes out, I need to get well versed in the musical.
Yes.
Because like Hamilton is like 3.5 hours. It doesn't feel that long to me because I know all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
good for y'all.
Become well versed in the musical of Wicked before you go see the movie.
Yet.
You need to go see it.
I'm forming opinions based on other people's opinions.
I will not. So.
Ariana Grande is adorable.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just don't care why you became a villain at all.
That's okay.
Yeah, right. I just don't.
Each their own.
Exactly. I just do not care. I will tell you though, and wow, way off track again. My favorite meme to come out of the movie though is because so I find this funny because Wicked is really is truly based off of the original Oz.
Right.
Mhm.
So people are actually taking things from Wicked and merging them into the movie Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, you can't do that.
No.
Like, you need to stop, because they were just like talking about like a love triangle. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't work if you take the characters from Wizard of Oz the movie, because the Wizard of Oz the movie has nothing to do really with the original books.
Right. Yeah, Dorothy's 10 in the books.
Like,
yeah.
Like, stop. Time out.
What I loved, I loved people were like, don't post spoilers. And somebody was like, look, this is a movie based on a 21-year-old musical, based on like a 29-year-old book, based on a 70-year-old movie, based on a 120-year-old book. There's no such thing as spoilers.
Right. Like, stop. Like, yeah. So it's kind of funny that, like, it was like, yeah, y'all, if you haven't read the book, like, if you've only seen the Wizard of Oz movie,
yeah,
Wicked's not really going to make much sense.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it's the book. Because Wizard of Oz is long. Anyway.
Yeah, the books are much darker. My problem with the movie, my big problem, is that in the book, they make a big deal of like when Elphaba was a baby, as an infant, learned to not cry because tears burned and left like scabs and stuff. Which explains why throwing a bucket of water on her killed her.
Right.
Like she could not have water of any kind because it was physically painful, and they didn't do that at all. She like cries, like tears running down her face several times in the movie. Spoiler.
Yeah.
How dare.
That was my only problem, but it's like the tiniest little quibble. Like it doesn't affect the story at all.
Yeah. So all of this just to say that my favorite book series is Dorothy Must Die. Just saying.
Scene.
And it's really good too. She's an awful person.
So you know how in Wizard of Oz, when the house drops on the Witch of the East, and they take the shoes off and her legs roll up in the movie, that sister's in a wheelchair. And the actress who's playing her actually is in a wheelchair, which will be interesting when she puts on the silver shoes and gets to stand up. I don't know how they're going to do that, but
yeah. Brian, go look. It's a novel series called Dorothy Must Die. It's great. So the whole premise of that book is if you read the original Oz books, Dorothy's a hero, and then she goes back to Kansas where she's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She's still nothing. And so she can't take it anymore. And then she goes back to Oz and basically takes over.
Mm-hmm.
So she becomes the villain. And so now everyone else has to save Oz, because we don't know where Ozma is.
Mm-hmm.
Ozma's disappeared.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Yeah, it's great.
We had an Oz day. We watched the original Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Return to Oz. We watched Oz the Great and Powerful.
In the Wiz.
It was on in the background. Okay. And then one day this week I put on Tin Man, that sci-fi series.
Sci-fi series.
And the little bit of it that I caught, I was like, man, this is as bad as I remember. Which is crazy because of the cast being phenomenal, but the writing was awful. Just really terrible.
Rachel's giving us trivia.
Thank you, Rachel.
Oh, I did not know that.
I had no idea.
That was good trivia.
Yeah. There you go. Right.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about other comics.
You got us sidetracked on. All I mentioned was I can't remember the last movie, and then you went.
Wicked was really good. I love the book series so much, and I didn't know that there were 4 books.
All right, we're moving on. Batgirl number 2, Sins of the Mother.
It's very fighty.
In case you don't know who Batgirl's mother is, it's Shiva.
Yep, Lady Shiva, who trained the entire Bat family because she is like the most assassin who ever assassined.
She's it.
She's like the top
she's the
tier
best
fighter. Yeah, best fighter in DC.
Yeah.
And she's trained a lot of people.
She's also in the new Black Canary movie.
And she's beating up Black Canary in a ring.
Yeah.
In the
Which
Black
is
Canary
also
book.
really good. That came out last week.
Yeah, it came out last week. I haven't read that one yet, but
Yep. So Batgirl, Lady Shiva.
so Shiva comes to Batgirl and is like, "We got to leave town because there's a group of people who I'm scared of coming to kill us." And of course, Batgirl's like, "I'm not leaving Gotham. My whole family's here." And she's like, "But I'm your mother." And Batgirl's like, "So? I don't care."
It's because I didn't talk for years.
Yeah. Like what I really like is that Batgirl's inner monologue is the text box of her inner monologue, which is very like complicated and like she uses like big words and stuff. And then when she speaks, it's still like one or two words at a time.
Yes.
Like she still speaks the way like she's just learned to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically in DC time, she's only been speaking for like
5 years, maybe.
yeah, I don't even
Maybe?
think that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I mean, for the first 10 years in comics,
Yeah.
she never
She didn't
spoke
speak at all.
like at all. Like
She didn't start speaking until they changed her name to Orphan. I think that was during the New 52.
yeah,
And like they made her have like weird social skills things. Like she's living in a building, living in like an apartment with a bunch of other like heroes.
Yeah.
And she just like walks around naked all the time. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I don't know. I just don't want to wear clothes right now." And it was like a weird
Don't worry
choice. Anyway, this book's, if you like running fight scenes, this one's great. If you like old Vietnamese women who are good at sewing your skin and also giving advice,
This is perfect for you.
yeah, this is
That's very
Like,
specific.
yeah,
but
That is
needed
very-
in
that's
the
a very
book.
that's a very niche.
yeah.
Yes.
Cassie has some supporting characters that I knew nothing about until I read these 2 issues of Batgirl.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad they made her a Batgirl again.
yeah,
instead
me
of the
too.
old
She's a
orphan
great
thing.
Batgirl.
Yeah, it's like it's really like stop. We don't need all the other stuff. Yeah, if you want to see a character with mommy issues, yes, it's an awkward mother.
She has, yeah, her mommy issues is my mommy is a monster,
Yes,
and I don't want to have anything to do with her really.
it's still mommy issues,
Yeah.
but yes, when your mother's awful, what
Yeah.
do you do?
And the bad thing is her dad is just as bad, if not worse. He is also like a assassin for hire kind of guy.
Yeah,
Cute.
sure, that's a word. Here, we're going to show you next the Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns. This is number 2, but number 1 came out last week because it's a weekly book.
Yep.
4 issues.
And it is the sequel to the best surprise of last December. Because the first series of this that was a weekly book in December was so much better than we expected.
Yeah,
And this one is turning out to be much the same.
yeah. It basically brought the last year's series brought Santa Claus into the DC universe proper as a character.
And this is one of those things, like, I hated Damien for a long time. His reaction to Santa Claus being real is the most 12-year-old kid response. Like, yeah.
It's perfect.
Like, Super Sons had already kind of made me a Damien fan. His interactions with Santa Claus really moved it over the,
Yeah, Damien became okay when they did Super Sons.
Yeah.
That's when Jonathan, you needed the person to level Damien out.
Yeah.
And Jonathan did that.
Yeah, Damien needed Robin.
Yeah. Yeah. You needed a person to calm him down. And
Yep.
Jonathan would just look at him and go like, I'll just smack you.
Yeah.
So anyway, we issue 2's out. So 3, 4 be right on the heels. We still have 1, or they still have 1.
And there's a great moment in here where Santa Claus gets to show that his actual power is not just having a nice and naughty list. It's being able to get inside the head of the kid and know exactly what they want, no matter how nice or naughty they are. So good.
So good.
Yeah, I guess it's almost time for me to read Klaus again.
Yep. 'Tis the
I have to
season.
read
It is. It is December.
Tomorrow might be a Hawkeye all day kind of day.
Have you not read Klaus yet?
I've not. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow.
It's the definitive origin. It is 100% the real Santa Claus.
okay.
And
Yeah,
no one
it's-
can tell me otherwise.
It is.
Okay.
Yes. 100%.
Grant Morrison, no Santa Claus.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Right. He wrote his autobiography,
I love that. Okay.
Yep.
or his biography would be auto because Santa Claus didn't write it.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, sure.
Well, what if Grant Morrison is
What?
Santa Claus?
I'm pretty sure he's not.
He could be.
I'm pretty sure he's not. I like Grant Morrison. Pretty
Not
sure
that
he's
much.
not.
Fine.
Like I get what you're saying, but no.
But no. Okay. Okay.
But Klaus,
It is not the same Klaus from Netflix.
no, it is
That
not.
is
But that is
different.
also a good movie.
I haven't seen
Animated. It's animated.
Is it?
It's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It is a really good animated
that. Okay.
Santa Claus movie. It's also an origin, but it's not my origin. I mean,
Hashtag not my origin.
it's a different universe type thing. Klaus
Hashtag
is still
not my Klaus.
Yeah,
Hashtag not my Klaus.
But it is actually it is really good. Like it is definitely really good.
Okay. I'll give it a try.
If it wasn't for this Klaus,
Yeah.
that would probably be my
Okay.
just because it's a lot of fun. And it's about a postman. Just telling you. And then Dark Horse is doing this book called Christmas 365, #1.
So I thought this was a one shot. I was wrong. And I literally only read it.
Because you thought it was a one shot.
No, because it's written by Gerard Way's brother,
Oh,
Mikey
Mikey.
Way.
Mikey Way. And I was like,
Where do you live? The Mikey Way.
The Mikey Way.
that's the philosophy I live my life by.
Yeah.
The Mikey Way.
Yeah.
Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything.
Yeah. I'll hang out with all the milk and stuff. I'm in the Mikey Way.
Oh my God.
But it's basically about this guy who the whole year he has been working extra hard for people that don't appreciate him and hasn't been spending time with his family. And he's in the process of kind of ruining Christmas for his family. And he decides, enough. I am going to make it so that every month for the next year on the 25th, we're going to celebrate Christmas every month, and then proceeds to burn their presents up. Yeah.
He has this great talk with Santa Claus where he's sitting on Santa's
He literally
lap.
goes to the mall with his kids and sits on Santa's lap, and then gets into a fight with another
Yeah.
dad. Like he is literally ruining Christmas for everyone. And then he's like, "I'm gonna fix it." Because
So
apparently,
is he an awful person, or does he just not know how to act?
no, like apparently his dad was like the Christmas guy, and his dad did Christmas big every year. Except it looks like his dad was also a big drunk guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's got some childhood trauma related to Christmas,
Yes.
and then also he sort of lets
I mean, who doesn't?
the middle management where he works walk all over him,
Mhm.
and then like he ends up doing the work for his work and then his boss's work, and then his boss's boss is like,
Yes.
"You did great work, middle management guy."
Yep.
So
I mean, yeah.
pretty typical story about middle management managing the middle.
Managing the middle.
Yeah, but it's really well written. The ways have a way with words.
Ways.
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 No, I already argued about ways earlier this week.
It took you the wrong ways.
Nope, I use Google Maps and
I don't do Google Maps.
no.
I do the Apple Map thing.
Okay.
It's just as fine.
Yeah, they all work the same.
Like every now and then I'll pull up Waze just so I can see little happy cars go by. Or something.
Yeah, my problem is every time I use Waves, like ads pop up. Whenever you stop the car, an ad pops up, and they're like, "No, I've never noticed that before." And I'm like, "I don't know how."
Yeah, I don't.
There's ads. I don't like ads.
Yeah, I don't care. It was like not like I was going fast enough down the road to the speed to know where a cop is. Sunday was slow.
Yeah, my drive back from Blacksburg was average about 30 miles an hour, I think.
Next up is from Image, Juvenile, #1.
It is not about the rapper. In case anyone
Found
was
that out the
confused.
hard
I
way.
did. I was like, "Yeah, Juvenile."
Obviously, it's about drugs.
It is somewhat
Drugs.
about drugs. So
I mean, drugs is all over this book, front and back.
there was a terrorist attack and some chemical warfare was used, and now when kids hit puberty, they die.
Huh.
So this book is about the government doing everything they can to fix it so that these kids don't die at puberty. So it's a lot of drugs and surgery, and this is a story about all these kids that are like locked in this medical facility being experimented on to try and save them.
Juvenile is about change.
It is.
Huh. Thanks
But-
for reading.
But not like cool change, like changing into a robot, but like bad change, like you're gonna die when you hit puberty.
Yeah, that's not really good. Yeah, I think I'll stay away. It seems a little bit more depressing. Than
The first
I would
issue. The first issue was good. It's interesting. It's got some.
Jacqueline will probably like this.
One of the kids might have telekinesis. I'm not sure. He also might be digging through a wall. I don't know. There's a lot.
I'm trying to find a page for you, but there's like drugs on every page. Here. Yeah. Drugs.
Those are the life-saving kind of drugs that are administered by health professionals.
Sure.
There's a couple other holiday-themed books that came out this week that I did not have time to read. We've got DC's Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg, which these are always fun holiday-themed anthologies by writers and artists you've never heard of. This is usually like their introduction to the DC universe.
Katie Kubert did a story in here.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or is she an editor?
She's editor.
Oh,
Editor.
wow. Really?
And then we have a horror-themed Christmas book from Image that I read the first story, and it was
Marvel Wolfman did a story in here.
It was upsetting. Like, it's horror-themed. So it's like the second story, which I didn't quite finish, these two kids use fishing hooks to catch Santa, except it's not Santa. It's his twin brother. Santa keeps the nice list. His brother keeps the naughty list. So anyway, there's lots of holiday-themed fun this week. The Batman Santa Claus, that is the thing. Because it's not even Batman Santa Claus. It's Damien and Zatanna Santa Claus.
Yes.
It's so fun. Yeah.
Which one?
The Batman Santa Claus, like
gotcha.
Batman and Superman and the Justice League, they're trapped in some other plane, like trying to figure out how to get home, fighting a guy who might be from Arthurian mythology. I think they made him up. I don't remember him, and I read a lot of Arthurian stuff as a kid.
Well, we want to make stuff.
Yeah, but he's like an evil knight who steals people's souls.
Wow.
And
I can't wait.
Last year when Krampus did
Krampus
stuff, a bunch of dudes escaped.
Oh yeah.
So this is Santa Claus trying to track them down, and
he's still tracking them down.
Yeah, he's still tracking them down.
So they didn't end up tracking them down all from the last.
Yeah, because some of them didn't run away; they sort of regrouped and hid.
Oh.
And now there's shenanigans afoot.
Shenanigans.
Again with the shenanigans.
They shenaned.
They will shenan again. Sorry, you say that all the time. I had to ruin it for you.
It's fine. It's fine. If Tess was a supervillain, her name would be the Ruiner.
It's true. It's true.
And if you get bored, you can go out to YouTube and type in Krampus and Austria. They just had a Krampus parade.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you should go watch it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
They take their cramping very
They
seriously.
do. It is phenomenal. Like
Okay,
the costumes and stuff is.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, actually, Marvel does have a holiday book this week too, right?
Did they?
Or is it last week?
Oh man,
No, they
don't
do.
remember.
I remember
do.
unpacking it.
Yeah,
I actually saw it on my
I
site.
forgot
Marvel
about
does.
it.
Yeah, I
completely
forgot. I can't remember if it's called Marvel
It's
or
Marvel something.
Yeah, but Marvel does have because I end up getting the holiday books or any of the one-shot books like that because I love them. Like they're always the most fun.
They are usually fun and silly.
Holiday tales to astonish.
Yeah.
Oh right.
So I love the books like this because, like I said, they're always just stupid fun and everything. And so it's
That snow fella looks cranky.
and
Cracker.
a lot of times they usually make fun of themselves, which is always a good,
Yeah.
which is always good fun.
So there's Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Spider-Man stories.
Ooh, so there you go.
And they, in the traditional Marvel, it's Jolly Jerry Duggan, Draydlin Daniel Kibblesmith, Jean Ald Lewin Sing Yang, Sign Yang. There's too many words put together.
Hey, just stop now, man. Is it? Phil, add the stockings with Caranoda. So that's pretty funny. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
these are always good.
Guys, first page, Dr. Doom has come to town.
No.
I don't know if he's leaving presents or stealing them.
And Johnny did the menorah.
Happy Hanukkah, Ben!
Aw, so cute.
All right. I need to read this. Whoa. Is that Phil Noto art? It is. isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. You just said his name. Yeah. Oh, this is pretty.
Wow.
And look how short Wolverine is next to She-Hulk.
Look,
perfect.
Tommy can read comics. He just
Perfect.
doesn't listen.
He just.
Sorry, what? And it looks like Kitty Pryde, the X-Men story, also has a menorah because Kitty's Jewish as well. Yeah,
I love that.
Ta-da!
Covering all the bases.
All right. Well, we've actually gone over a little bit. I'm surprised Tess hadn't yelled at us yet.
She's yelled at me enough while you were gone.
That's fair. All right, good. I get tired of
That's
getting
true.
yelled at. So,
That's true. Well, you get what you get.
well, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and then we'll be back for the next couple of weeks. We'll have to figure out.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing Christmas yet.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out our holidays because we have. Well, we're only closed. Y'all are closed Christmas.
Yeah,
But then we got the Tuesday night show, which is Christmas Eve.
yeah, which we're going to be
So-
closing early on Christmas Eve.
Right. So we'll have to talk about what we're going to do if
Yeah.
we're going to do anything.
Yeah.
So
We will be at Cosplay World this Saturday. If you guys are coming out to Cosplay World,
Cosplay World.
Cosplay World.
Tommy may be cosplaying. My cosplay is not done.
I will
so.
be here.
Tess will be here.
In case you wanted to come
If
say
you
hi.
want to come say hi to Tess,
You should.
It is in Henrico. It's in Henrico County. I can't
Yeah.
think of the building it's
Yeah,
in.
I think the website's cosplayworld.com.
Yeah, just go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Go to cosplayworld.com and
I'm
you'll.
pretty sure it's there. But yeah, it's
I've been to the facility
I have
before.
not.
They've done plays and stuff there, so it's
Okay.
actually a nice little.
It's like an
facility.
arts facility.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
an arts
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's actually it should be a good place for.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's not all day.
Yeah.
It's a fairly in and out.
I think VIPs get in at 9:30, but it's like 10 to 4.
Ooh,
Yeah.
9:30.
If you're a VIP,
A VIP.
I'm not a VIP.
me neither.
All right, everyone. We will be back next Tuesday, and we'll have figured out the holiday schedule by then. So
Maybe.
we'll let you know.
Mayhaps.
Maybe we'll have to do a Monday night show. You won't be here anyway. You don't care.
Aw. Only I'm allowed to be mean to you.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. And maybe we're done.